When a series is this consistent, one list just isn't enough. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for another top 10 The Office episodes. For this list, we're taking a look at 10 more episodes that helped make The Office such a beloved and enduringly popular series. If you don't see one of your favorite episodes here, make sure to check out the original video. Number 10, The Injury.
So, most nights before I go to bed, I will lay 6 strips of bacon out on my George Foreman grill. Then I go to sleep. When I wake up, I plug in the grill. I go back to sleep again. Then I wake up to the smell of crackling bacon. It is delicious, it's good for me, it's a perfect way to start the day.
We'd love to wake up to the smell of crispy bacon too, but not enough to risk making the same mistake as Michael Scott. When Michael burns himself by stepping on his George Foreman grill, he calls for someone to pick him up, begging his staff to not send Dwight over.
Coming, Michael! I'm gonna save you!
Todd,
Michael is in trouble!
I do not want
Okay? Hold on, Michael! I am coming! Wait there!
Dwight!
Sure enough, Dwight bolts out the door and winds up crashing his car when exiting the parking lot. Michael wastes the rest of the episode trying to get his employees to take his injury more seriously, while Dwight suffers a severe concussion. Along with its ridiculous premise, The Injury boasts some hilarious writing and performances, the moment when Dwight is sent to the hospital being particularly memorable.
What do I write under reason for visit?
Concussion. What did you write?
Nothing. I wrote bringing someone to the hospital.
So you thought they meant your reason for coming to the hospital?
No. You know what, Jim? This isn't about me anymore.
Number 9, Scott's Tots. When he finds out that he's ineligible for Employee of the Month, you'd think that Michael's day couldn't get any worse, and yet fate always finds a way. Turns out Michael promised a class that he'd pay for their college tuition after they finished high school.
Michael, why did you promise that?
To change lives?
No, Michael, why would you promise that?
When he returns to the school, he finds that the school has made Scott's Tots shirts, and the class makes a big thank you presentation.
Hey, Mr. Scott! What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make our dreams come true! Hey, Mr. Scott! What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make our dreams come true!
The whole episode is hilariously awkward, offering up arguably some of the series' most uncomfortable moments. But what makes it more special is Michael's touching conversation with Erin on their way back to the office. Or not.
I think that if you hadn't made that promise, a lot of them would have dropped out, which is something to think about, I think.
Number 8, A Benihana Christmas.
Oh, I think you're supposed to put a toy in the box, Gage.
And a happy holiday to you.
Of all the Christmas episodes The Office has had, A Benihana Christmas is one that tends to resonate with most viewers. While Andy tries to help Michael cope with his breakup, Pam and Karen get in a Christmas party war with Angela. Most of the episode is spent in conflict, but the ending perfectly conveys the spirit of Christmas without being condescending about it.
Angela, we've been hearing really great things about your brownies, and we were hoping you'd consider merging the two parties.
I'm not sure.
Eventually, the two parties merge, and everyone gets drunk off of margaritas and singing karaoke. The lesson here, kids, is that Christmas is a time to put aside differences and find common ground. That and a time for wacky workplace hijinks.
Monkey, this is Possum. Do you copy?
Copy, Possum. What's your 20?
Number 7, Branch Wars.
I got an offer from Utica for more money, and I'm going to take it.
What?
When he finds out that Stanley is being poached by Dunder Mifflin's Utica branch, Michael tries to form a plan to get back at Karen. Yes, the same Karen that Jim used to date. He and Dwight end up tricking Jim into joining them, and the trio head to Utica to sabatage their operations.
All today.
Are going on a panty raid to Utica, is what we're doing.
We're going to Utica?
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to Utica right now.
Yes, you are.
While it was somewhat heartwarming to see Michael go to desperate measures to keep an employee, this episode shed a light on a side of Jim we rarely get to see.
I mean, it's just that, Pam and I are still dating, so. And I just mean that things are going really well, so I didn't want to see you.
The way he handles his unintended reunion with Karen shows even Scranton's lovable prankster is capable of being genuinely inconsiderate, and it reflected a change in his attitude we'd see evolve later on. Number 6, Golden Ticket.
Oh, no. I am not Michael. I am Willy Wonka!
effort to boost marketing, Michael takes a page from Willy Wonka and hides 5 golden tickets in various shipments. Since this is Michael we're talking about, this was of course done without consulting anyone in marketing. However, when the office discovers their biggest client received all 5 tickets, the whole stunt blows up in Michael's face.
My golden ticket idea? Okay. Why would anyone think that this is my golden ticket idea? There's a 1 in 13 chance that this could be anybody's golden ticket idea.
The branch faces a possible shutdown, and Michael tries to get Dwight to take the fall, which also blows up in his face.
I just want to say that this golden ticket idea is one of the most brilliant signs of initiative I've ever seen at this company, and how about a big round of applause for Mr. Dwight Schrute?
Between Michael's paranoia-fueled schemes and the KGB knock-knock jokes, Golden Ticket quickly distinguished one of the most memorable episodes of Season 5.
Knock, knock. Who's there? KGB.
KGB?
We will ask the questions!
What the hell was that?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Hey, hey!
Number 5, The Deposition.
And you were directly under her the entire time?
That's what she said.
Excuse me?
That's what she said.
In this Season 4 episode, Michael finds himself having to testify on behalf of his girlfriend and former boss, Jan, as she plans to sue Dunder Mifflin for patterns of disrespect and inappropriate behaviors.
Mr. Scott, who is this other woman, Ryan, who you refer to here as just as hot as Jan, but in a different way?
While The Deposition has its share of laughs, especially given the awkward circumstances, it makes the list for how crucial it ended up being in the story. During the testimony, Michael discovers Jan is suing the company for the wrong reasons and that she's used him for her own personal gain.
You expect to get screwed by your company, but you never expect to get screwed by your girlfriend.
Somber and heartbreaking, The Deposition was a turning point for not just Michael and Jan's relationship, but arguably the show as a whole. Number 4, Did I Stutter? This episode can be hard to watch, but it's undeniably a great 22 minutes of television. During a meeting, Michael tries to get everyone to come up with ways to re-energize the office, pressuring an uncaring Stanley to share his thoughts. When he pushes a little too hard, however, he gets an unexpected response from the usually indifferent salesman.
Come on, Stanley, put your little game down and join the group.
No.
Stanley, we're having a little
Leave me alone, damn it.
We're having a brainstorm session.
Did I stutter?
Dwight tries to convince Michael to initiate his emergency plan, but really, who would fall for that?
Emergency disaster mode for the org chart. This gives me full authority over every single person in the office.
I never said you could
All
do
you have
that.
to do is say it.
Did I Stutter was unique in how it intensified Michael and Stanley's relationship and gave a relatively quiet character a moment in the spotlight. It was also one of the very few occasions where Michael had to set aside his childish behavior to really exercise his authority.
All right, you don't respect me. I accept that. But listen to me. You can't talk to me that way in this office. You just can't. I am your boss. Can't allow it.
Number 3, HR problems.
What are we supposed to do? Scrutinize every little thing we say and do all day? I mean, come on.
The episode entitled Sexual Harassment is wrong on so many levels, and we mean that in a hilariously shocking sort of way. When an old friend comes to visit Michael and starts spouting misogynistic remarks, the manager is forced to go through multiple sessions regarding Dunder Mifflin's policies.
Okay, hypocrite. Okay, she is a hypocrite. That is such a scam!
Minding Michael's inability to accept criticism for all it's worth, this episode is both insightful and hilarious, offering plenty of replay value for die-hard fans.
Wow, that is really hard. You really think you can go all day long? Well, you always left me satisfied and smiling, so...
That's what she said!
Michael! Number 2, The Convict.
Jan, which one of the new employees is a criminal?
A reformed convict, and I'm not sure.
Upon discovering Martin's criminal record, the office becomes interested in knowing what the ex-convict did to get thrown in jail.
Kind of sounds like prison's better than Dunder Mifflin.
Oh, okay, well, that's not true.
I would so rather be in prison.
Yeah.
Prison sounds great.
No, you would not.
This ultimately leads to a conflict between Michael and his staff as he tries to convince them that being in the office is more fun than being in prison. Of course, we all know why The Convict makes the list. It gave birth to one of the best bits in the show's history.
I'm Prison Mike. You know why they call me Prison Mike?
Do you really expect us to believe you're somebody else?
Do you really expect me to not push you up against the wall, biatch? All right, hey, that's just the way we talk in the clink.
To try and scare his employees, Michael puts on his prison Mike persona and tells them what life in prison is really like, at least according to television and movies.
The worst thing about prison was the Dementors. They were flying all over the place and they were scary, and then they'd come down and they'd suck the soul out of your body and it hurt.
Before we unveil our most hilarious #1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Oh my God.
What's happening?
Andy's running over Dwight with his car.
Whoa! What are you... Hey!
Yeah.
Hey! Oh! Come on! Ow! Here we go.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. #1, the Dundies.
So let's make this the best Dundies ever.
Best Dundies ever.
Every year, Michael hosts a branch-wide award show he dubs the Dundies. Unfortunately, his budget for this frivolous event has been pulled by Jen, and he's now forced to put on the event with minimal funds. What puts this episode at the top of the list is the shift in the show's tone. Whereas most of Season 1 portrays the characters in a bit of a mean-spirited light, the Season 2 premiere promised a series with more heart moving forward.
God gave me this Dundee, and I feel God in this Chili's tonight.
When Michael is ridiculed by bar patrons for his terrible singing, his colleagues step up and encourage him to continue the show.
All right.
Simply put, the Dundies was a precedent for what The Office would become. Funny, absurd, and cringy, but ultimately human.
What a great year for the Dundies. We got to see Ping, and we learned Michael's true feelings for Ryan, which was touching. And we heard Michael change the lyrics to a number of classic songs, which for me has ruined them for life.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.